Hey, it's Dave Rockensloma with another book report here. I'm a writer and a filmmaker, and I make these book reports as a way to share about books that I've read that I liked, and also it's kind of like an online diary for me, so I keep track of the books I have read. And today is a Philip K. Dick book, and he's one of my favorite authors. And if you like science fiction, if you haven't read him, I highly recommend it. Anything of his, really. And I'm going to talk about the book here. It's titled Blade Runner, but that's a little misleading. The book is actually called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So that was the short novel published by Philip K. Dick in 1968. And then, of course, they made the film Blade Runner in 1982. And what they wanted to do is, when the film came out, they approached Philip to basically make a film adaptation book of Blade Runner, the film. And if you've read the book and you've seen the film, you know that they're very different. I mean, that's often the case, but here in particular, they're very different. So Phil didn't want to do that. He said, no, release my original book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which the film was based upon. But there was some wrangling going on, and he didn't want to budge. And finally, Phil got his way in the end, and it was pretty hard for him because they offered him a lot of money to basically do a film adaptation of his own book. But he didn't want to do that for many reasons. And one of the reasons was I think they were going to pull the original novel off print. So he didn't want to do that. This book here is great. I mean, many times I read Phil's stuff and I just go, wow, I can't believe it. It blows my mind. I mean, this came out in '68. I can just imagine what it would have been like reading this back then. I mean, I just read it now in 2016. And it's incredible. Like, his stuff is futuristic and also timeless in many ways. Here you can see the film credits they put on here. Did you know there was another book called Blade Runner previous to the film? I believe it was in 1974 it came out by a different writer. His name I don't have at the moment. Maybe I'll look it up and put it down in the comments. But yeah, there was a book called Blade Runner, and a science fiction novel. And I don't think it ever... Well, I think it did okay, but they were actually going to make a film out of it called Blade Runner. I think there was a screenplay written, but the film was never made. And then years later, for the Ridley Scott film, I guess they licensed the name, or they purchased the name Blade Runner to use. And it's kind of interesting, in the original book called Blade Runner, the reason the person was called that is because they were smuggling medical supplies like scalpels. So they'd be like a Blade Runner, smuggling scalpel blades. So that's where it actually came from. So it's a cool title. I mean, I'm not sure how it really applies to Phil's book, but I guess you could say that the main character, Deckard, is, running on the edge. I guess that's what they meant by Blade Runner. And there's something in here, too. They have an excerpt from the book, and it says Mandroid on the top. So I don't know if that was a possible name for the film, or where that came from. Or maybe they were calling them Mandroids instead of androids in the book. But I don't think I've come across the term Mandroid in the book. I'd have to look through it again and see, but I don't think so. It's a still frame from the movie on the back here. And a blurb here basically from the film. So what they did was basically just, package this book again when the film came out. And the reason it's called Blade Runner is because they wanted to tie it in with the film. But, Phil was holding firm that I'm not going to rewrite my own book based on a film that was written from my book, if you see. Great book, what can I say? Highly recommend you read it if you're a fan of the film. If you're a fan of Philip K. Dick, you probably read it already. If not, read it. His stuff just never ceases to amaze me. I'm working my way through his whole library at this point. I've read most of his stuff, and I look forward to more. I guess the only sad thing is that when I run out of his books, I won't have any more. So I'll have to go through them again, perhaps. And if you've never read any Philip K. Dick, you've probably seen films made of his stuff. There's been numerous science fiction films based upon his material. So I'm not going to list them all here, but it's easy to find out if you want to do a search. But yeah, great book. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Philip K. Dick.